this video, we'll be designing an egg holder, say for a chicken or duck. It'll kind of look something like this, and it'll be able to be 3D printed on a normal 3D printer. First thing that we're going to do is open up a new part, and we're going to start on the part that holds the actual eggs. So we're going to click the sketch button, and we're going to click on our top plane, and we're going to right click, view normal to sketch plane, and start with a center point rectangle. We're going to have 3 holes we're going to start out with, and we're going to linear pattern these 3 holes. So one, we'll start at the edge of our rectangle at 0.125, and we're going to dimension the other side too, and give it a starting point. The actual hole, and I did this based off of some trial and error, is going to be 1.4 inches, and that'll pretty much fit most eggs. So I've got some small eggs and big eggs that I tested it on, and each of these holes is going to be 1.4 inches. So we can go up to our constraints and click on the equal sign right here, and we're going to click on each of our 3 circles, and that's going to make each of them the same exact size. Now these circles are going to be about 1.5 inches away from each other, and we're going to stagger them so that they won't touch, but still use the space efficiently. So here, we're going to create our pattern, and we're going to click on all 3 circles. We're going to use a linear pattern right here. And we're not going to do 3 circles, we're going to do 4. That'll give us our dozen eggs. And in between each one of these, it's going to be 1.75 inches. And that'll kind of give us a basis of where to go with our circles. We're going to do a left click. That'll make our linear pattern permanent. Our circles are a little kind of all over the place, so let's set up some constraints so we can kind of pull everything together. This set of circles is going to be in the center point of this, so let's add a point onto that line, and we're going to do a vertical constraint. On both points, that'll kind of keep everything lined up. And we're going to make our rectangle a little bit bigger, and all we want is 1/8 of an inch of material from the outside rectangle to our hole. We'll do that in both directions. And that'll give us our kind of baseline for our eggs. Now we're going to click on it and do an extrude. This is going to be 0.1875 inches. Kind of give it a little bit of thickness so it doesn't bend. Then we're going to start on the handles on each side. That kind of gives it its stackable ability. So we're going to create a sketch on the side. We're going to right click, use normal to sketch plane, and we're going to do another center point rectangle. We're going to click on the center right there. This rectangle is going to need to be lined up with the edge of our base. So we'll click on that. And the entire thing is going to be 3 inches high. And actually, we don't want the base actually in the middle. So our eggs are going to stick up the top right here. So we're going to take the constraint that we have right here and we're going to delete it. And what we're going to do with that rectangle is we're going to constrain it vertically with the origin. Now we'll dimension the bottom here to bottom there, 0.75. And that'll give us the base for the handles. Now we'll click on the sketch, extrude. I'm going to extrude 0.25 inches. Now, I did combine these two parts right here, the two extrudes, but we're actually not going to want to do that. So go back to the extrude, and we're going to want to make this new instead. And since I don't want to design this twice, one on this side and one on this side, we're going to mirror it whenever we're done with this side. So I can actually do it new, and then when it goes to mirroring it, I can just click on this part and mirror the entire part rather than a bunch of features. So that'll make it easier for us later on. Next we're going to make kind of the more stackable parts. So let's create a sketch on the inside. Right here. We're going to do a right click, view normal sketch plane again. And we're going to create a basic structure of our stackable area. Here. So we're going to make this 0.25. This is going to be 2 inches. But we want this lined up with the center, so let's get a point. Create a midpoint. You see how when I go over the middle, it creates that constraint right there? That's what we're looking for. That ensures this stays in the middle of the line. We're going to do a vertical constraint. Click on that point, this point. That snaps everything in the middle right there. Then we're going to want to dimension this, 0.25. Whole thing is going to be 0.5. And it's still not constrained, so I'll add 0.25 for that. There. That should constrain most of it, except for this side right here. And we're just going to make this side horizontal with this one. That shorts it all up. We're going to need one more line going from here all the way to here. And we're going to make that 1/8 inch. And you can see the whole sketch is constrained right there. So now we're going to do 2 extrudes with this sketch, actually. So this top part, we're going to extrude, we're going to do a remove, and remove it all the way. So there's a hole right there. Looks okay. And then since we need to do another extrude with that same sketch, I'm going to show it again, do an extrude, and we're going to click on this bottom part right here. And we don't want this to go all the way through, we just want it to go 0.125 through. And click on remove. You can see we removed about half the material right there. So now we don't need that sketch anymore, so you can hide it. And we're going to go on the other side and make the same exact thing except on the bottom, so they seed into each other. Create a sketch, right like view normal sketch plane. And we're going to make about the same. It needs to be straight. Make about the same thing that we did on the top. We're going to need to put this in the middle again, so get a point. Find that midpoint. Create a vertical constraint here. This is going to be 2 inches again. From here to here will be 0.5 inches. 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. We're going to make these two sides horizontal to each other. And this went down lower than it needed to be, so let's pull it back up. That's going to be 1.25. That should be everything. So let's press OK. And we're going to extrude in. We're going to do a remove. But we don't want to actually just do 0.125 right here. So that's going to make this and this the same exact size. And we want this to go inside the other side. So we're going to add a little bit of tolerance. Just do plus 0.01. So that'll make this extrude a little bit bigger than this extrude right there. So I found that as you're stacking these, this side right here tends to slip off, bottom part right here. So we're going to create a little lip so it doesn't slip off anymore. So create another sketch on the side using the side of this part. View normal to sketch plane. And we're going to just make a simple little rectangle right here. This is going to be 45 degrees. This will be 1/16 of an inch, and this will be 1/8 of an inch. Actually, let's make that another 1/16 of an inch. Alright, press OK, and we're going to extrude, and that's going to go all the way to the other side. So we're going to add that. Go in the other direction, and let's do up to next. No, up to face. So if we end up changing anything of this, it'll just change with it, and that'll go all the way to that face right there. Press OK, and then we want this to kind of slide in, so we don't really want this hard edge right here, so let's just create a chamfer on that edge. And that's way too big, so let's do 0, 0, 3, 1, 2, 5. Let's see how that goes. It's not quite big enough. So let's do 0, 6, 2, 5. Looks about what we're going for right there. Let's press OK. Okay, the next part is to create the handle on the side. So we're going to view normal to sketch plane, and we're going to make a slot. So that's going to require 2 circles and 2 lines. So right here, circle right here. We're going to want a line going from here to this circle, another line from this circle to this circle. And we're going to add a few constraints to make sure that everything kind of lines up and creates a slot. So we'll click on the line and the circle using the tangent. And we'll want to do the same thing for this line and this circle. And this line and this circle. And that'll make it to where the line comes off the circle properly. Let's line up the two circles with horizontal constraint. These circles are also going to be equal to each other. And we'll probably want to center this up as well. So let's put a point on this. And do a vertical midpoint. Let's dimension this. And actually, dimension outside circle to outside circle. If it'll let me do that. And it will. Alright. Let's do 3.5. And this is going to be 1 inch. Looks about right. And we don't want this to hit into our eggs right here. So we'll have to move it up a little bit. So let's dimension here to here. 2.75. Looks like that'll give our fingers, look right here, give your fingers a little bit of space in the base. Maybe we can go up a little bit more. Point 875. Let's see what I'm doing on the other side. That looks like that'll give your fingers enough space in between everything. Alright. Let's press OK. We're going to extrude that sketch. Going to be a remove. Press OK. And that gives us about what we need for the handle right there. So let's mirror it. So we're going to go over to the mirror button up here in the middle. Click on this part, entity to mirror. Mirror plane is just going to be our right plane. See right there? It mirrored everything. Let's merge it with all. That'll give us our single part. And if we hide all this, gives us our chicken egg holder. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. If you like this video, then give it a like. Thank you.